Welcome back, one and all, to DASHCAST. Yes, we are listening to suggestions. We've decided to change the name, ameliorate any sort of confusion some of you people out there might have. We understand that, and we're really looking forward to this episode. We're releasing this in both segments and long form for different variety of interests in listening, so you can just focus in on what one thing you enjoy, or just sit here with us for a couple hours and listen to everything we've got going for you. And those segments are going to be the Circleback, the previous name of this a whole situation we got going on. Now we're focusing in a little bit more. And speaking of focusing in, the next segment is a top highlights section. You got to be checking that out. That's a pretty sweet one. We've got a play breakdown, and afterwards a player of the cycle segment. Be on the lookout for that one, especially because some people might be surprised who's going to be showing up in there. We've got a fun mascot based AI review. We've got AJLBlackGhoul in the booth with us for that segment as well. Odd won't be sitting with us today. I know many of you are going to be missing him, but we do have AJ, and he's a great character. And speaking of guests, our interview at the very end is F2P. And I'm sure a lot of people would like to get to know this very fun, very popular in the community, but also somewhat mysterious player. So we're going right ahead.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Goose. So I did it. I put on my headset, plugged in the USB cable, plugged into my computer, ran a bunch of code, and it started flashing and like sparking and like making a bunch of noise, and smoke was coming out of it, and here I am. I made it into Hyperdash. Here in the flesh, standing in Quarry, and we're gonna do your Circleback starting right now, live from Quarry. Here we go. So Phoenix versus Iron. Phoenix using their like weird bird powers. They get the win over Iron. Then Ajax comes in, cleans up the competition versus Emu, and they get that win. Then UNSC coming in versus Iron. Iron, what are you doing? Come on. Jester versus Emu. Jester makes Emu laugh so hard that they lose the game. Then Sith versus Rook. Sith, again, with the lightsabers. I don't know how they got them in the game, but they did. Southern Cross versus Wolf. Southern Cross gets the win over Wolf. That was a great game. I watched that. Limbo shutting down Hacks. Hacks is unable to deploy their hacks, and they can't hack, so then they win the game. 12 a.m. versus ATX. 12 a.m. Pre-checked ATX. That was a great game. Control versus Supernova, also a fantastic game. I watched that. You should too. Sith versus 12 a.m. Again, lightsabers. 12 a.m. did not have their midnight powers. UNSC versus Life. UNSC takes Life. That was a little dark. TBDI versus Underdog. TBDI, the international determined people, win that game, and then Underdog comes back and says, "Don't do drugs, kids," and shuts down Acid. Then we got Supernova versus Sky. I don't want to talk about that game. It's out of my memory. Southern Cross versus Fire. Southern Cross uses the fire extinguishers and gets that W. Then Fire reignites the entire chessboard, and Rook goes bye-bye. We've got Limbo versus ATX. Also a great game. ATX put up a fight, but Limbo gets that win. Control versus Phoenix. I watched that match, and so should you, because that was a great game. Then we've got Ajax continuing their soap reign of terror and just washing everything. That doesn't look right. Who put that up there? Hold it. After further review, it has been determined that Envy did in fact win that game. This segment was recorded before those results went up on the Discord. The result of the play is that Envy will receive a seed ranking deduction as a penalty. First down, Envy. And now, a translation for our football/soccer friends out there. Envy gets a yellow card. Wolf versus Hex. I commentated on that game. That was a good game. You should go watch it. TBI versus Hard. Hard goes a little limp and loses that game. TBI comes out with the win. Then we've got Life versus Envy. That came down to the wire, and that was a great game. And then finally, we've got Jester versus XP. XP just didn't show up again. XP, what are you doing? I don't like it in Quarry. I think I'm going to leave. All right, here we go. We got your Cycle 2 highlights. Starting off strong, we've got Vune coming in with an absolute crazy double kill on Limbo, showing his 1v2 power right there. Next up, we've got Mr. V coming in with the sniper, shield, button hold combo. Alex tries to get around him but can't, and TBDI gets that point. Then we've got Lazarus going on a monstrous kill streak versus UNSC. Working this B button with El Defi. And finally, Lazarus goes and grabs some health, goes up by the sniper rifle, and hits the Gritty with 4 and gets taken out. Then later on, we've got Lazarus back. He grabs the dash, grabs the health, pushes into the bottom of their base, pushes into tunnel, takes out Dark Ghost from behind, sees his teammate grab the button, hold it, and then Lazarus is like, my turn, jumps in there, and Sandman unable to get the kill. Next up, we got Reborn going on a crazy SMG kill streak, and this kill streak lasts so long that Jake ends up switching to another player to give more players camera time. And you'll see that in just a second. And there it is, Jake switches. But then that player gets taken out. But then Reborn's back with the SMG kill streak continuing and gets taken out by Toshiro. Next up, we got Hacks versus Limbo. Hacks doing everything that they can to extend this overtime and push the cart, but they're just unable to. Limbo puts up a great fight, and Limbo goes on to win that. But this is the longest overtime that I've seen, at least. Then in that same match, we've got Hodge going on a 22 rocket kill streak. Shout out to Hodge there. Then we've got Neptune, double shotties in hand, pushing into Sith's base. Takes out 1, takes out 2, finding a buddy. Pushing in, and Sith starts to respawn, but then Neptune's like, nope, not gonna have that. And takes out their entire team to secure that point. Then as a quick shout out, we've got 4 versus Shout, and 4 gets a crazy side kill on him. So those are your cycle highlights. If you're watching a match and you see an amazing highlight, don't forget to snip it and put it on the Discord. Thanks.
All right, so we're going to do our Cycle Circleback gameplay breakdown. We've got a couple of clips for you guys. Yeah. Got a couple of clips for you guys. We've got, they're both involving checkpoint holds. Well, a checkpoint hold and then a checkpoint breakthrough. So this first clip is going to be 12 a.m. Versus Ajax. And so let's get right into this one. Well, the next clip will involve UNSC versus Life, UNSC breaking through the checkpoint. But I want to get to this one first because this is a good checkpoint hold. And in the next clip, it'll be a good checkpoint breakthrough, so we can sort of contrast the two things here. So first off, I want to point out, and we'll do this like a sort of like a film review. Goose is going to go along with me here as I'm talking and sort of try to stop it at the points that that I'm talking about at first, and then afterwards we'll play the clip through, and then the three of us will just sort of talk about it, and as we will. So first thing I want to point out here on this one is that you can see that 12 a.m. has a pretty decent setup. Of course, one of their guys, everyone's alive right now, but in about a second in, move up like about a second in.
Yeah, there we go. You can see everybody on the mini map in the bottom right side.
Right. So now I because I knew someone was dead, so I just didn't remember who was dead. But you see Sugarcane here goes down, and there's someone who's coming from spawn. There's someone who's standing on cart. There's someone who's going to be up watching the shield doorway, and then there's going to be someone who's on the health ledge. And about another split second here, they're going to be jumping up to that health ledge. So that's a pretty good defensive setup for 12 a.m. They're positioned where they need to be. Yeah, they're positioned where they need to be in order to try and get this hold. I mean, different teams are going to have different sorts of setups and stuff, but I imagine at this point we've got 36 seconds left for checkpoint. So 12 a.m.'s been getting battered over and over and over, so it's hard to get like your ideal setup and have everyone in like sorry, excuse me, have everyone in like you stand exactly here and whatever. So as we roll it a little bit, we'll see that Ajax is kind of just trickling in, which usually you hear people say, "Oh, we don't trickle, you want a group." But at this kind of point where the cart is so close to the checkpoint, a trickle is not a bad thing. It's like rush the cart, go to the cart, die on cart. Like as you rush the cart, try to kill with your charge shots that person that's standing on cart, and try to get that 1 inch that you need to get that checkpoint.
Yeah, all you need to do is get lucky once.
Right, exactly. So it's what Loop used to how Loop popularized calling it micro pushes. You want to get that micro push in there. And so when the cart's that close, it's perfectly fine to not group and try to rush in. But you still need people doing their sort of roles. You want to get someone with heavies to knock all these people off the cart and all that sort of stuff. And we'll see if Ajax tries this. But at one point, we'll see. Let's see if we could get like right here. So pause it right here. You see Bible Crusaders coming up, and he's got his shocks. Now, what I would do if I were Bible Crusader here, I wouldn't have come out and exposed myself with the shocks. The person with the shocks, they want to hang back in the shield room here. Now, I did before I got to the Bible Crusader thing, I did want to mention Booga here on the rockets. He's back on the rocket bridge, and he is perfectly positioned. If we run it through back to where Bible Crusader is again, we'll see Booga gets a kill there. He gets a double kill or something, I think, at some point right there, I think. And he gets another one right here. Like he is in prime position to just slaughter these people. And then he's also curving into the shield room here, like he just got Leo. So let's pause it again there on Bible Crusader. We know that the rockets are there. We know that people are standing on cart. And Bible Crusader, right here, he should have gone to the right, behind the column. Instead, he pops out and exposes himself. And as he does that, instead of doing what the shock should be doing and clearing the cart because there's people there in case he has someone trying to get that micro push, he's clearing it.
And the whole point of the shocks is that hitting a place where people are going to be and are going to stand still at is like your game. Like you want to be hitting that cart because there's people standing on it. That's why you can't push it. And if you shoot a shock at a cart, it's a guaranteed kill and a guaranteed bonus for your team.
Right. So you see here in the small view that is that Panda or somebody who's standing on cart. So that shock could have gone and killed that person on cart, and but instead he tries to shoot the Rocketeer here and he gets taken out. And then after this, next it'll pop over to Laggy, and Laggy does Laggy. I'm glad he's back in the league right now, but he's a longtime veteran, smart player, great player, and he knows I need to get these rockets down. That's why we're not getting this. That's the biggest threat. So Laggy here gets up, takes those rockets. Now, if Bible Crusader had tried to shock the people around the cart, maybe Laggy survives this kill on Aluno, and then maybe he drops out and gets the cart and gets the checkpoint. But that doesn't happen. So now you can see on the minimap here, that's a wipe on Ajax, and everyone is trickling in again. We've got 8 seconds, so the countdown's going, which of course makes everyone panic. And at this point, as their micro pushes haven't been working and they have this sort of natural group up, it might have been a good idea to call that one last group to push to try and get there, get your overtime, but have your team there in full force to try to get this. But they trickle, and 12 a.m. just does a great job of always having a red person on cart and having those rockets in place. Laggy killed Booga, but he respawns, gets rockets, gets right back in place quickly enough to get that final rocket kill to secure that checkpoint. So let's start it over at the beginning again real quick. We'll watch it through real quick, and then we'll...
Real quick, before we fully play it through, one more thing I'd like to highlight that 12 a.m. did very well is having a dedicated cart person, having Panda on there was instrumental, because how much he moves around makes him really hard to hit. And you'll see that multiple times as the clip goes through. People will take an extra amount of time trying to kill him because he's moving his real life body and his in-game body so much. And that eating up of time and attention is what allows the rockets or the other people to guarantee that nobody's going to survive long on that card on the blue team.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's play this clip through, and I'll follow up what Gollum said there too. It's like, yes, if you're the person standing on the cart, you want to be moving around, because of course people are going to peekers you there. They're going to jump out, try to take some pot shots at you. So you want to be moving around. And also, an amazing thing for defense on Launchpad that not enough teams really reach for is that shield is right there. So Panda even could have gotten that shield, and then even harder to kill on the cart. And of course, that's why you bring up shocks or rockets right there, because even if there's someone with a shield, you're going to kill them anyway, usually. So yeah, Gollum's exactly right. If you've ever been on a team with me, and we have a checkpoint situation like this, and I'm on defense, you'll hear me screaming feet on cart all the time. And if it's me who's feet on cart, I'll say, like, I'm low, I need someone to switch with me, whatever. So you want to have coordinated effort to be standing on the cart. So you'll designate someone to be standing on the cart, and then that person, when they die, needs to call out feet on cart or I'm down or whatever, so that someone else can go take their position. But you don't want to give up that micro push. And the reason Ajax did not get that micro push is, one, those rockets, but also because 12 a.m. does an amazing job here of standing on cart. And, a lot of teams will stand on cart when it's this close to the checkpoint. But if you even have someone standing on a cart, as soon as that cart hits the bottom of the hill, that slows the team up so much if they're good at staying alive on cart. And every time someone comes up and stands on this cart, they have to kill someone off of it first, which wastes their time and gives the other red teammates time to come at you and kill you and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, great job here by 12 a.m. What else? Do you have anything else to add on that, Gollum, Goose?
No, that's it from me.
I think we're good.
Sweet. So let's move on to this taser clip here. All right. So in this clip, we've got UNSC versus Life, and I wanted to save this clip for last because in this one they actually do achieve checkpoint. So the first clip sort of showed what a good checkpoint hold is, and now this is going to show how you break that checkpoint. And well, we can see down here in the mini map that Life has a pretty decent setup. They've got Castle there, number 2 on the mini map, who is in that Mars or health room doorway, sight lining down main rail, which is super important. You want to have someone there at all times. You have Evil Pancake, number 0 right there, who is up pushing the agenda, trying to slow them down from advancing.
Number 1.
Evil Pancake was
number 0. Yeah.
You've got number 5, who's also pushing them up and trying to slow their ability to group and progress and all that sort of stuff. You've got someone, number 4, who is standing on cart. And then number 3 looks like they're a little bit out of place. They should probably be in Mars also, but maybe they just spawned and they're making their way there.
Or they're trying to take that dash from the flank so that UNSC can't get behind. Yeah, and you can see actually that UNSC does have a person that's behind, that's iconic, Sandman. So that'll be important in a little bit. But right now, Life has a pretty decent setup. And UNSC, on the other hand, does not have a cohesive group push going up. You see Taser's coming out here alone, while 3 other people are still in the base. But Taser, by this play right here, taking out Evil Pancake with his shock, sets everything up. So we'll roll this. He takes out Evil Pancake. Camera moves the Taser. He comes here and he takes out Castle in the doorway. We'll pause it here. That's super important. So he gets those 2 people down.
and then that clears the way for his other teammates you see behind, who were held up by Evil Pancake. He was hiding in that corner, ready to pop someone in the back. So he frees it up for them to come. And then right here, we'll see Taser now sort of pops out of Mars, which I would have, advised against. He's a little bit more exposed here, but he does a good job. You saw him there just splash the shock in the two directions that like someone could have come after him in. And we'll take it back a little bit here, Goose. So I'm going to show him, go back again where he dips down to where that dash is. So there was a player that saw him, and so Taser avoided him by dipping down here. He doesn't see the player, but what he does is he splashes a dash, which is a natural place for someone to go to. If you run it for a second or two, you'll see him splash the doorway up top. So he thinks maybe the person's following there. So whatever happened, this person didn't lost focus on him. And that's probably where Iconic comes in. He's behind, pulling their attention away. This is something Makers pointed out to us on this clip, is like you've got Iconic back there pulling the focus away from Taser, so Taser's able to survive, even though he was out there and exposed a little bit. So we'll run it back a little bit to where Taser was splashing the shock again. You see that Taser then, he pops up to this health ledge right here, and you'll see that like none of these players are paying attention to him. Now, it's paused right here. You see Castle mid-dash right here. I think we saw Iconic pop in a little bit on the left, right, or somebody, I don't know. But the people near the cart are focused on someone to the left over there. And so Taser's not being shot at by 3 people right now. But Castle knows he's there, because that's why Castle's dashing up to this first arch up here. Taser notices that and drops down to block Castle's sightline of him. So we'll run that, and then Taser tries to go back and grab some health. And you see he's out of dash here. So he tries to get here. So if Castle were a little bit quicker, if he took a more direct route to Taser, he probably could have gotten him there, and they probably could have held the checkpoint. But Taser, by dropping down and ruining that sightline, and Castle doing the smart thing and jumping up above the shock where it's a much harder kill, ended up working against him. So Taser gets this lucky primary shot kill on Castle right here. Great kill. And then he does what he needs to do. Pops in the doorway. He splashes the cart right here while his teammates are jumping on cart. And I think he gets a couple picks here, and they get to push that cart through. So this is a great way. This is what you want to do when the cart is like so close and you have a shock player. Like Bible Crusader, the other one kind of came out, exposed himself, and paid the price for it and didn't shock the cart. Taser here, he is shocking the cart when he has players around it. He sees right here there's no players on there, so he sort of backs up, gets health, whatever, wins his fight, hops up and gets right back to splashing cart. Teammates are hopping on there, red people are hopping on there, but obviously blue's going to win out because that shock's going to pick him off. But great play by Taser here, great checkpoint. And what do you guys have to add to that?
I mean, not much really. This is just a great example of showing how to break a pretty decent hold and what goes into the setup beforehand. That combination, not just of Iconic pulling attention in the back line, or rather Sandman pulling attention in the back line, and Taser staying focused on that objective and on his need to stay alive in order to be able to focus on the objective when nobody's looking at him. Along with the rest of the teammates knowing that they have one player behind Team Red, behind Life, and they have one player with a shock ready to clear cart, that the rest of them just need to push that cart. They just need to move that objective and rely on their teammates to get their jobs done. Basically, everybody here on Team Blue knows what their role is and knows what they have to do and is not losing focus, and that loss of focus as somewhat is often what can cause teams to panic or to not make these intense moments work. And despite Life having a fairly decent hold, all things told, at the start of this clip, that focus on roles out of UNSC really saved them here and gave them the chance to make it through checkpoint here. Absolutely.
And another thing going off of that is just Taser doesn't go anywhere near the cart, and I think that's important that he knows his role as not someone jumping on the cart. I see that often happen in Walker tier teams where everybody's just trying to get to the cart, but Taser is playing the smart role in here and sticking back and taking his role to an important step.
Yeah, it might seem counterproductive, and I've done it before. Usually in pubs, it's not usually my role to like hang back with shocks or something in a match, but like in a pub or something, I might get a little desperate and have the shock and rush up and jump on the cart to get a little micro push on there because I don't know my teammates here. But this is good discipline by Taser. He stays back and just keeps splashing. He survives, keeps splashing, and just provides that opening for his teammates to be able to ride the cart. And it's easy to do in Launchpad as well. As we saw, you have a shock that you can grab when you spawn, and there's also that rocket that's right there at the bottom of the hill. And a little bit harder to make this effective on Abyss because it's such a short distance. You could get a shock through like to the health plank there and start shocking the cart that way, but I don't know. I guess it's pretty effective on Abyss too. It's just Abyss is such a smaller area. It's really easy to come out and go for that shock person. So one of the things here is that I think Life should have done a little bit better is like, and my primary focus anytime I'm in this situation on red and I see shocks come up, I'm yelling out shocks. I'm pointing out where shocks are, and I'm going all out to try and take those shocks out so that this right here doesn't happen. So you want to have, Taser's being disciplined here too. But Red also needs to be disciplined and recognize that he's the biggest threat and take him out. When they were in the back focusing on Iconic with no shocks, but it's like, oh, he's behind us. So many teams get really distracted by that person behind. Instead of just like leaving that person behind alone, and when they come up and make themselves an issue, when they jump up and like get in front of you or whatever, when they're on that second arch back there standing still shooting at you, then you turn around and go fight them. But like if I see so many people, like when I get back behind lines here on Canyon, I go back all the way for that back dash or that back health or something. 2 people will chase me all the way back there. It's like, awesome. That is what I wanted, because those 2 people aren't watching the cart. So you got to have discipline as Red here to not go chasing that person who gets behind you all the way back, but keep to your position. And you should have someone who's sort of has a position where, they're sightlining and killing people as they come to cart, but their job is also to protect rockets and watch for people getting into flank or protect them from getting through the flank behind you in the first place. And, that person could be the one whose primary focus is the person who gets behind you, but that person still shouldn't be chasing them all the way back there. It's like you're conscious of that person back there. You call them out so that people know. And then as that person comes up to be effective and get some kills, you're watching for him and you can call him out. Okay, he's on second arch. Let's go. And then you pick him off. So another thing, like Life was, and they just in these last few seconds couldn't get him up because Iconic's back there. But I don't see any rockets here. Mm-hmm. And not having rockets, means that Blue doesn't have to spend any time trying to worry about rockets.
Yeah, we saw that in that previous clip with the rockets doing a lot of work.
Yeah. And how Laggy had to sacrifice his life to take him out. And then, and it also allows Blue to just go stand on that cart, because if shocks and rockets are flashing the cart at the same time, then Blue and Red are going to die. But there's no rockets here, so Blue can just go right to this cart, let these shocks protect them, and then it's just a straight shot through. So great performance there. And also you see like right here, like after, how I said like they don't have a really good great group push-up right here, but because Taser took out Evil Pancake right there, those 3 people that were in the base are now pushing up, and you'll see when I guess they've spawned right now. Yeah, so they did push up together, but now they spawned in a natural group up. So now as Taser's up here, those 3, since they all died right away together, now they're all naturally grouped up together, and they're the ones dropping on this cart right now. So yeah, you got to take advantage of your natural group ups like there. If you see 2 or 3 teammates die with you at the same time, then you're all going to be spawning at the same time, and your lead comms should be calling that out. It's like, or anybody should be calling that out. Hey, 4 of us just died. We got a group. Let's go. So it's about being conscious of those situations, calling them out to their teammates so you can take advantage of them also. But anyway, great play here by Taser to get this checkpoint. Great play by 12 a.m. to hold that checkpoint. And especially Booga and I think it was Panda and Sugarcane who were standing on that card a lot.
Oh yeah.
And it's not, you can't win this game by yourself. So it just shows you need that Rocketeer and Booga and the person standing on the card, Sugarcane, and Panda to be this, this team of people who are achieving this singular goal. And you need Taser here splashing the card, and the other people jumping on card and trusting him to like protect them as a team to accomplish this singular goal. So don't try to do this stuff yourself. And as your team's practicing and scrimmaging and doing strategy discussion, you want to like think about situations like this and how you're going to approach them and how people need to stick to their roles. And I've subbed in for teams that are scrimmaging before, and it's like, what's my role? And they're like, oh, I don't know, do whatever you normally. Yeah. You really need roles. You need organization. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard to play together as a team.
If you try to do everything yourself, and everybody especially is trying to do everything themselves, you're going to end up getting punished for it by a team that is not doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, stand together, fall alone. Unless you guys have anything else to add, I think that's good for our gameplay breakdown.
Hey everyone, this is Emdubs, and I'm gonna go through players of Cycle 2. So just to recap, Player of the Cycle is awarded to players for each of the 3 different tiers who not only performed extremely well, but was also quite available, played a lot of their team's games, and also played for teams that were quite successful this cycle. So to start, we're going to start with the Walker tier players of the cycles. And the first player of the cycle for the Walker tier is Texas Toast. So Texas Toast played an instrumental role in leading Ajax to a perfect map record of 4-0 for Cycle 2. He led the teams in kills and also total score, which helped propel Ajax all the way from Walker to the top of Sprinter at the start of Cycle 3. So good job, Texas Toast. The second player that I want to highlight is Mr. V from TBDI. Now, TBDI achieved a 4-1 map record in Cycle 2, and he led his team to a strong victory against the up-and-coming underdog team, UNDG, top killing for TBDI in all of the maps in this tight matchup that went to double CP. So congratulations to Mr. V as well. So now moving on to Sprinter tier. We have, first of all, Vume, who went off this cycle showing his versatility in all of the maps by leading his team, Sith, in scoring in 4 out of the 5 maps that they played. So this clearly dominant and versatile performance helped lead Sith to a stellar 4-1 map record in Cycle 2. So the second player in Sprinter tier for Sprinter player of the cycle is Robodom, who helped Limbo, LMBO, go 4-1 in maps played for Cycle 2. So in Limbo's tough matchup that went to double CP against a very experienced Hacks team, Robodom top killed in every map, and he also top scored in 2 of the maps played for that particular matchup. So great job to Robodom as well. Alright, so now for the Dasher tier players of the cycle. First of all, we have Sandman, who once again gets the Dasher Player of the Cycle honor for the second time in a row by helping lead UNSC to a 4-1 map record in Cycle 2. And just as a side note, UNSC remains as the only undefeated team for this particular season, winning all 4 matches that they played. But Sandman, he top killed in 4 out of the 5 maps that he played this cycle, and as I just mentioned, he with that he helped keep UNSC as the only remaining undefeated team in Dash League. Now the second Dasher of player of the cycle is Servoid. So Servoid helped Control finish Cycle 2 with a great 4-1 map record, including a very impressive victory against a fellow contender, Phoenix, where Servoid actually finished as a top scorer for all of the maps for Control in their matchup against Phoenix. So great job to Servoid as well. So that's it. Congratulations to Walker, player of the cycles, Texas Toast, and Mr. V. The Sprinter players of the cycle, Vume and Robodom. And last but not least, the Dasher players of the cycle, Sandman and Servoid. So good job, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next cycle.
All right, so in this segment of the DASHCAST, I had this idea in honor of the Super Bowl that's happening. Well, it just happened over the weekend. So I had the idea to generate some AI mascot costumes for the Dash League teams, but in the style of NFL mascots. So the prompt that I used was NFL style mascot, blank and blank colors for the teams, team name blank. So then the generator just went wild and decided what to generate. So starting off strong with Midnight, we've got this purple looking dude.
Oh my goodness.
With big old yellow eyes and a crown looking thing.
That one's actually not bad. That one looks pretty menacing.
It does look menacing. It does look menacing. And what did you say, AJ, before?
It looks like a grimace from Vigilante.
It looks like
It really does.
Evil Grimace, Batman Grimace.
Evil Grimace.
Yeah.
And then I'd like to also point out in the background that there's two other mascots in the field just hanging
jealous.
out. They're
Some messed up bears.
yeah, some messed up bears.
Well, I like the one in the background. The one on the right, he's got half shorts and half furry ass.
like the player inside's trying to escape.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. So the next one is Acid, and for whatever reason, it would not let me put in Acid into the image generator. So I had to change it to Trippy because it's basically the same thing. But this is what it came up with. This dude is definitely hiding some eyeballs behind those dark glasses that are doing some funky things.
He's got some tabs somewhere on him. That one's funny.
Yeah.
I noticed this one and the last one, they both had what looked like the New England Patriots symbol somewhere on them, like a messed up.
So what's what's up
you
about
say
that?
NFL that just sort of assumes this one looks kind of like a Buffaloes and Patriots mashup. I like on the Midnight one too. AI still can't do words very well, so it's Team Midnight.
Yeah, there's
Lots
two
of
eyes in there. All right. Next up, we've got Ajax. And Ajax, the AI took an interesting turn and went with a Trojan guy.
A jacked man.
Yeah, jacked man.
Look at those muscles.
Oh, and just wait and for muscles again.
Okay.
Like this weird looking. Trust me, there's more muscles coming up. But there's this also this weird looking I guess it was going for some sort of ball or something going through the air. But he's got some big smile going on with Ajax.
He's on a college campus, I guess.
Yeah. Well, this reminds me of the USC mascot.
Oh,
yeah. Reminds me of the USC mascot also. I don't know if Ajax would be too happy with this one. This Captain Coat right there.
Not at all. All right. Next up, we've got ATX. And ATX, this came out strong with a freaking jacked bird.
And he's got his buddy in the background.
Yeah. So he's jacked. He's got his gold chain, and then we've got a regular player in the background with another mascot helmet or mascot head.
Half beak, half mouth.
Yeah. This beak turned out weird because he's got some nostrils or something, and then the mouth is down here. I'm assuming. I don't know.
No,
but it actually.
Mohawk,
the Anthrax actually came out. Oh, I mean, it's messed up, but it's still there. And then we've got the San Francisco logo way in the background. Sort of.
I can only imagine how different this would be if we used the full name of the team.
Anthrax. Oh yeah.
Look,
definitely.
So they've got two NFL logos on his hip right there. On his left hand, they have a basketball over there for some reason. The fun thing is pointing out all the mistakes that AI still makes.
The AI is trying its best.
It sure is.
It's just
all right. Next up, we've got Control. Now, what do you guys think of when you hear the name Control?
Keyboard.
Probably a basketball at this rate.
AJ said keyboard, and that's what I would think of too. But honestly, the AI just went straight for
control, please.
Water cooler. Water cooler.
It's like a green M&M shaped up.
That's the dumbest one so far.
I know. But
it's clean though. It's clean. That's for sure.
And to be fair, it does have these like little knob things up on its face that I'm assuming are some sort of controls, but it's so
this is a very creative interpretation.
Exactly. Then next up we got Emu. Emu's pretty straightforward. It's just an emu.
Yeah. Oh, that's my favorite one.
Living its best life, hanging out.
And then he's got the eagles on him.
Yeah, he's got the
3 eagles
supporting another team.
Definitely.
That one so far, that one looks the most appropriate. That one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then it actually it spelled emus right.
Spells the word right. Yeah.
Wow. It almost got the number of zags on the M right.
Next up is another one. So Envy is kind of a broad topic. You don't really know. There's not a mascot that would go with that. So AI kind of did its best and decided to go with a green shake.
Man, I'm envious of what kind of toothpaste you have. Dude. What brand is that?
Extra mint.
It does look like a toothpaste mascot instead of a sports mascot, but definitely keeping the kids happy, I guess.
Big old clompers too. Oh wait, he's got different fingers on the left and right hands. He's got more on one hand than the other.
He does.
It's like if Crest tried to emulate the M&M mascots.
Yeah. Exactly. And then next up we got Fire. Fire's pretty straightforward too. It's just a cool dude hanging out with a fire head.
Yeah.
Flaming on.
Yeah, that's not a bad mascot there.
I don't see any advertisements for any NFL teams in the back of this.
No,
one, so
not at all.
This is a good double thumbs up.
Although Fire does have an indoor stadium there, so they're
good for them.
They're
terrible.
And the fans wear orange.
Yes, they're all
wearing orange. Yeah.
They're all very color coordinated.
Yeah.
Next up is Hard. And Hard is another one of those things that you really don't think of a mascot for it. So it came out with a mascot called the Hard Card.
I feel like it's emotionally appropriate.
It's just a little angry dude.
That's actually a pretty cool mascot. But
yeah.
I don't know. Looks like
hard
a rugby
card.
mascot. Hard card, dude. He'll throw the hard card at you.
I guess.
The red card, yeah. Then we got Hacks. Hacks is another one that you couldn't really think of a mascot, but we got an angry looking bird.
Bird shark. A bird with teeth. I mean, what?
He's got like big old teeth and some dreadlocks. Like he's looking menacing.
Giant
and then
shoes make him look like a Sonic character.
He does.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Definitely Sonic vibes going on. And then I'd like also point out that there's like a dude looks like he's puking in the background here. Definitely getting
He has a
sick.
peg leg too. He has one peg leg.
Does have a peg leg. But that's Hacks. Iron. Irons is pretty sweet. There we go with Iron.
Wow.
Oh,
that's like the NFL robot.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
That was easy.
With the Fox like the Fox intro, but it's got a
that
cool
one's cooler,
belly.
dude. That one's badass.
Wow.
And it spelled iron right.
Yeah, it did
Nice.
spell iron right. It did
Is
all
Tony
the
Stark
right
a supporter?
He does. Tony Stark likes iron. Next up is Jester. Now Jester's is one of those like ones that will haunt your dreams.
Oh boy.
It's great.
It looks like the Joker's eviler cousin.
Yeah, it reminds me of like the Joker from like the cartoon Batman back in the day.
Yeah.
So I was. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
It just looks like I would not want to be in like the hallway of like an empty stadium with this
This is another very rapey character, just like Queen Captain Date Rape. So I was wondering if any teams would take these images and maybe make a new logo or something like that.
Ooh.
So Jester has probably the worst logo in the league. Sorry, Jester, your logo is terrible. But the logo on his chest right there is actually pretty sick. That'd be a great logo.
Yeah. And Jester, I will send this to you. You can steal it, whatever you want to do. I didn't even make it in the first place. So.
You could even have the pecs in the photo.
Oh yeah, you gotta have the pecs. Come on now. It is a comedy team, right? So it should just be the whole torso as their logo.
All right, moving on. Next up is Life. Now, Life is just a friendly.
He just looks like a funny.
He looks like
that looks appropriate too.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa! Look at Hips Maximus. 35.
That's what I was gonna say. There's an absolute unit of a lineman back behind him.
I would not challenge that guy.
That guy's nickname is Beef. Look at that guy. Jesus Christ. Oh, lineman for sure. But I love how this mascot has a cape, actually.
Yeah.
Not enough
the
capes.
only one.
He is dropping the pass, though, so he's not going to get yelled at by the team. Not many fans for Life. You can see all the empty stands back there.
No, they've got
you guys got to pick it up.
Empty upper decks.
Well, I mean, they recruited odd. Yeah, they recruited odd, and like so many season ticket holders just refunded their season tickets.
All right, next up, Limbo. So last season, Limbo's logo was kind of dark. It was like red and black. This season, they kind of went with a more like spacey looking logo. So this one kind of did not do either of those things. And so we've got
more toothpaste. Limgo,
the Limbo mascot.
At least the players in the background look excited about it.
They're pumped to be there.
This dude is a bar of soap with some toothpaste on him.
It reminded me. It reminded me of like the Lego Movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
like
then
like the cat.
Yeah, exactly. And then like this guy is excited to be there, but this guy's like really shy, like sticking in the background. And he's got 3 feet, so that's a little messed up. It's not gonna work out too well.
He must be a running back.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be great, dude. He's a running back, super fast.
Oh my gosh. Next up is Phoenix, another straightforward mascot, but he's a little
That's not what I would have expected.
Yeah, not the colors I would have expected.
Yeah, well,
actually, Phoenix does have a blue purple logo, I guess.
They do, yeah. And I typed that in, and that's what it came up with. But he's looking like this bird has seen some shit. Like he is coming in very concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was actually pretty.
Make it.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool mascot, though. Although he does have at least 3 nostrils.
At least 3. Moving on, another mascot that you would not want to be in a long hallway, Rook's mascot.
Oh my god.
That's another Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, another villain just looking creepy AF.
They've just got chess pieces in the background on the field.
Oh yeah. That I think that's part of their pregame ritual. They have this guy come out with chess pieces.
23's leg is literally half of a chess piece.
Yeah, exactly.
You've never played life-size chess on a football field, Gollum? Come on, dude.
This is the only one where they changed the NFL logo to be a different color, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
but hey, at least they've got a lot of fans. It looks like a full house.
Oh yeah,
it's a full house because that guy will like come and murder your family if you don't go to the game.
And he yell checkmate.
He just shows up in your dream.
Yeah.
Next up, and next up is Sith, and I will just remind you, I did not edit these at all. These are straight from the generator. This is what it came up with for Sith.
Perfect.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Fuck you too, Darth Vader. Son of a bitch. That's hilarious.
Like the Iron logo, it's just so clean. Like the AI had an idea of what it wanted and it just did it immediately.
It's so clean.
AI had some attitude along with it.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was possible for AI. I thought it had to be family friendly, and it just came out swinging.
Maybe he's just trying to point out. He's just trying to point up, but like the AI is so bad with fingers, it picked the wrong one.
It just picked the wrong finger. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's hilarious. All right. Next up is Sky, America's team. Apparently.
Oh yeah. I don't know why he's carrying the helmet. He's not going to put that on.
That's not going to fit.
That's about the baldest bald eagle I've ever seen.
And we've gone back to the Patriots logo.
Oh yeah.
And only 2 nostrils. So
only 2 nostrils.
there.
I got that right. Whew.
I'm a fan of this logo.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna definitely share this with
solid.
Sky after this. Next up is Supernova. Supernova took
if it's
the
just an exploding star, that'd be great.
It took the space concept and ran with it. So here.
Whoa.
Those are pretty sick jerseys.
It is. It is.
That's awesome.
I approve.
I would. If that was a real jersey, I would rock that. I would buy that in an instant.
Yeah, I bet all the fans in the background would really appreciate it. We were on the same wavelength there, Goose.
Oh yeah, and like those like dark green eyes are like really cool looking too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if Supernova were playing in like Georgia or Alabama, you wouldn't catch any of those fans dead in that jersey.
No,
it's not going to go over well.
No.
I'll be the only one.
You're gonna get your ass kicked after the game for actually wearing the team gear.
Next up is Southern Cross, and another one that I didn't say anything about where they're from, so I don't know if Southern Cross is like an Australian term.
Is it middle finger?
It is.
It is.
Yeah, Southern Cross is like a constellation or something that's significant to Australia for some reason. I'm not sure why.
That explains it because this is what it came up with.
Huh.
The hell?
At
a
least
wolf
they have a
bird with
flag.
teeth and a beak? Is that a beak? Well, I guess that's not really a beak.
I'm thinking like it's some sort of like dingo or something. I
guess.
But it
With a
also has like
beakish mouth.
wings. So I don't know.
and wings.
What's that Australian cryptid? There's one in particular. I feel like it starts with a J or something. I wonder if that's what it is.
It might be. Oh man.
Can't remember.
It also almost got Southern Cross. Southern Cross.
So close.
Yeah.
So close. I was about to be proud for the AI, but then it just wrote 3S on the front of the jersey after it, so kind of disappointed.
All right, next up is I love this. I'm definitely gonna send it to him after this. TBDI.
No, I just want to get to be a fox. Oh, that's
it's close.
Almost a fox.
It's really cute. It's really cute.
Looks adorable.
It does. It's got like a little orange mohawk going on.
TDICT over on the jersey. Some kind of advertisement there.
The team is touchdown by.
Yeah.
Right there.
It's close enough. It's close enough.
Yeah. That's probably. I think this one would win the most adorable.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That life one was pretty adorable too.
Limgo.
The one with soap and toothpaste on its head. That one was,
Limgo.
There's a lot of adorable ones. Limgo, right?
All right, and then Underdog. AI did not go with the dog. It went with some
please be a cat.
No. It's like
you had the dog. Why did you do this?
It's like a lion-looking thing with horns.
Yeah, suggesting that they should be called Underbull. I guess
it did get Underdog correct. Yeah.
Wow. And so it writes it right, but it doesn't get the right animal.
I like the 00 in the back. That's the biggest 00 I've ever seen. It takes up this whole bag.
Probably another lineman.
Yeah. And then it's got
maybe it's a 001.
Oh yeah, 3 numbers.
Yeah.
And then it's got 2 NFL logos, 2 Nike logos. Like it's rocking.
In case you missed them.
Yeah. And then this dude in the background is wearing the wrong jersey colors, so he's gonna get all that. And then all right, next up is UNSC.
Wow. Have you guys ever seen the movie Robots?
Yes.
I don't know. That kind of reminds me of the movie Robots.
Yes.
The main character in it.
Yeah, because he's got that like face mask, but he doesn't have a helmet on, so it's like just an alien.
He looks like an alien. Yeah, he looks like an alien. It's got antennas on the side so he can communicate with the mothership. I feel it's fairly appropriate.
I thought that it would go for like a like Halo or like Master Chief type of thing.
At this rate, a middle finger Master Chief.
All right. Next up is Wolf, And Wolf is probably up there with the ATX mascot in like menacing looking.
Whoa, that looks like a real mascot.
It does, and he's just like he's also jacked. I don't know what this AI was on, but he likes like the AI likes jacked characters apparently.
Sure does.
And wolves. Yeah, I thought that was so funny. It's close enough.
Yeah. But the blurring of the background really helps with the effect.
Yeah.
That's surprisingly good.
All right. And then the last one is XP or Express, and it came out.
All right. Welcome to the toothpaste game.
Yeah, he's another toothpaste-looking character.
Well, if you think Express is like a train that looks almost like, what is it, Thomas the Tank? Like, whatever that round train face. That's what I get out of it.
I think that's what it was going for, is like that Thomas the Tank Engine looking face. Also, Express doing a great job of selling out the lower bowl, but the upper bowl is not looking so hot.
Yeah, not a lot of fans. The Express can't really intimidate them into the seats like the Wolf guy can, or the work like mass murderer. Yeah, although he is sporting the NFL logo. Hardcore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that's right super big, and then the two on the legs. So, oh my gosh.
Advertising.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was all of them. What were your guys' favorites out of those?
Oh man. Go ahead, Gollum.
It's hard to choose. I think I have to choose the wolf. I'm just a big fan of like quality logos. I like all this creativeness and all the directions the different ones went in. I like stuff that's funny, but this one is just so. It looks so much like a real photo of an actual, and that's what I really like about it. So I'd have to say the wolves is my favorite.
AJ, what about you?
I love the intimidation from the Rook logo, the Rook mascot.
Oh yeah, he looks angry. He look, and the funny thing is, like, his just dead stare. He doesn't have any eyes. It's just staring. It's just like I could assume like he would sit on the sideline and like look at the other team and just like stare.
Yeah, distract them.
What about you, Lat?
I would agree. Rook is the most menacing one. The Sith one with Darth Vader just flipping you off, that one probably got the biggest laugh out of me. That's great. Flip through them all real quick, like just real quick. Go through them all again. I want to see because that'll jog my memory. Yeah.
Yeah. So midnight.
That one was pretty good. For just like that one was funny.
Acid, Ajax. We got ATX. ATX is actually my favorite because the bird, the jack bird with the chain.
Beefy bird.
I like how I was gonna say this, but I forgot. But I like how he shaves the hair off of his biceps to really accentuate those biceps.
He's got to look. He's got to.
So you know I'm jacked, bros.
Control the water.
This one is the worst one. This one is just absolutely like, what are you doing?
I did not know what to do.
And I was like, I don't know. Did you didn't put the word in? You just put CTRL, or did you put control?
Yeah, I put CTRL.
So of course I had no idea.
No.
It's like this, I guess. I hope you're happy.
All right, then Emu. Emu's friendly looking.
Yeah.
Envy, the ice cream / toothpaste. Fire.
That one was a pretty good mascot.
Got the hard card.
Oh, that was so good. He's a good mascot too. Like, if he wasn't named Hard Card, he was just an actual team.
Hacks.
Yeah.
Iron.
That one was just too appropriate. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Jester.
That was definitely an upgrade for their logo. That was one of the cuter ones.
Limgo.
Limgo might be my favorite. That one was it's so hilarious.
Oh yeah. And we got Phoenix, the multicolored.
Yeah.
Phoenix. Rook again. Sky. The America's team.
Oh yeah.
Supernova. Southern Cross. TBDI. Underdog. UNSC. Wolf.
Yeah.
And Express. So that was fun.
Yeah, Limgo was probably my favorite. Just like just funny, and Sith was funny, and that Rook was just
yeah.
amazing. It was so good.
All right. Well, put in the comments what your favorite mascot was, and we'll see you on the next segment. Do you guys have anything else to say?
Oh, I just want to say kudos to Goose for thinking of this segment. This was a great segment. More stuff like this. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely do some stuff like this in the future. And thank you, special guest AJ, for hopping on.
Hola. I would suggest voting for Rook, or else he's gonna send a Rook to your house.
He's gonna show up in your dreams.
He will murder your family if you don't. If you don't do what he wants.
He's gonna go Queen B8, and he's gonna.
Damn it, my parents live at Queen B8.
All right. Well, we'll see you in the next segment. Thank you again. And
peace.
Cool.
Hey guys, so hope you enjoyed the first few segments of the show. This segment, we're gonna do our first interview ever, and I think we got a perfect person to do the first interview. We got F2P here. He is, in my consideration, one of the most fun personalities in the league. He's one of my favorites. Of course, I got to be on a team with him on Other for a season or two. And he's always so upbeat, great personality. He's fun to play with in pubs, constantly giggling and all that stuff. He's a great dude. And so we're going to kick it off, ask him some questions. We all have some questions for him. That'll be Goose, Gollum Makers, and myself asking some questions. And we'll kick it off with Goose. What do you got, man?
All right. So my first question is, I'm not aware of how old you are, but I guess this question will kind of determine that. What's the earliest video game you remember playing?
Oh gosh, the first video game I remember playing. You see, I was actually there when they developed Pong. No, I'm kidding. No, I can't remember because like there's probably like one that would be like the first, but then I guess I would probably just remember the one that was more memorable that I had fun with. But
I mean, that works too.
I mean, we could get into age brackets. Like, did you ever play with a Game Boy?
Yeah, or first console, something like that.
An Atari, or like
no,
where are we at? A Wii was your first console? Who knows?
No, it wasn't that. It was a little bit older than that, but I'm not actually as old there. But I think I do remember having a Game Boy Advanced. That was just like in a square that flipped up. But I did play a lot on the GameCube. I didn't have much access to the other like popular consoles, so inadvertently I was more of like on the Nintendo side as a gamer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then what were your favorite games or the memorable?
Yeah.
Memorable
like
ones
say on the GameCube.
Okay, so there's one memory I do have. I remember playing Mario Strikers, and yeah, so I remember, what was it? When I was like still pretty little, like I was sleeping in the same bedroom as my parents, but for some odd reason, like I was just up, like I don't know how long it was into the night, but I was literally just playing in like what was essentially the like training practice mode for the Mario Strikers. And it's just Mario characters playing like soccer or football, depending where you are. But I remember I don't know, I was in like in a trance. Like I was just some like just little kid like playing on this small like CRT or whatever like thing I had hooked up to the GameCube, and like in the practice mode, for some reason it kept track of like the goals, and so like I realized when I went back to the menu, it would show up like on the side, and like I don't know, I guess even as a kid, like gaming, I was like, funny number, go big, go higher. And I was literally, I just kept scoring goals, and like it's not like the AI was even like playing against me. I just kept shooting until it reached 101.
And that's how they get you. That's how they hook you in with those funny numbers.
That's awesome, dude.
It's the
You're
funny
crushing
numbers.
it in practice mode.
Yep, with absolutely no opposition. They did not try to take the ball from me whatsoever.
Elite
that was a fun
practice
memory.
mode player.
Yeah, I know, but it's like it was just like I don't know, just honest to goodness, I was just enjoying myself with a game. But I did actually like play the story mode and other stuff. But I remember I just thought it was cool. It was cool when I went back to the menu. I was like, Mario Strikers 101 because I don't know. It said that in the menu. But besides that, like I guess core memory. I did play a lot of the Mario Party like series, those games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a big one because I actually didn't have the Nintendo 64, but looking back on it, uh from like 4 all the way up to I don't think I had 10. I think the 10th one was where it branched off into the Wii U. I didn't have the Wii U. Um that was when they had like I don't know, they got extra gimmicky with the game, but I got like Mario Party like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9 was kind of ass. They shoved everyone into a car and it didn't feel like Mario Party. I don't know. But eventually I also got the 2 on the Switch, but definitely like I played a ton of that like with Mario Party. There was a lot of like quirky games and like mini games in that, so a lot of fun memories spent in that.
Then my question for you is pretty related here, I guess. It's what was your first introduction to VR as a whole? What was that like, and
Oh,
or kind of the circumstances around it? What did you play first?
what did I play first? It was definitely a demo of some sort. It was, and if it's a demo, I think it was probably, Beat Saber was really in, and it was hot at the time. So it was either that or I do remember I was on a field trip in high school. It was like for computer science, and there was like this, like, you know, convention type deal going on. It was just like a small, well, not small, but there was like booths all around, and I do remember demoing. We were like, it was like meant to be somewhat educational. I don't know. You're supposed to build like some type of connections here and there, but not gonna lie, I just kept going back to the VR because I just wanted to keep playing it. Because I remember the first time. Well, actually, I don't remember exactly the first time, but when I saw VR, I was like, I, I want to try this. I gotta try this. Like, I think maybe it was just on like the Node like YouTube channel. I remember seeing the HTC like Vive with
Oh yeah.
the wand sticks controllers. I was like, that looks awkward as hell, and I love it. I want to try it. No, I like it just any type of shooting. But anyways, in that field trip, I remember I did play the Beat Saber demo, and I think it was actually I don't think I played the Space Pirate. What was that one VR game? Um, oh wait, no,
What,
no,
hover junkers? Are you thinking about the Node channel right now?
no, that's yeah. Well, that's where I was exposed to it. I think mainly when I was like, I looked up a lot of VR, and then I got to like see it, and always like imagine like, oh, what if I could like finally have it, or I could try it. But I did just suddenly remember the first time I actually it was still a demo, but I remember it was at a GameStop at a mall, and the funniest thing about this was that like what was it? I was like with my family, and the deal was I don't know, maybe it was just some type of insurance to make sure you didn't go like breaking stuff or whatever. They would like just hold on to like I think just one of your like IDs or whatever, and then when you're done with the demo, they give it back.
Make
But then
sure you don't
like
what break anything while you're in
I guess
VR,
so. I don't know. It was weird, but like that
or
was
like
just
they'll call the cops.
but they were demoing that, and I was like, I want to try it, but it's like I didn't have like the thing like what was it? I just didn't have anything to give them, just as that little bit of insurance. And then I just stood there just watching everyone else demo it. And it's like, I really want to try it. And I was like trying to call like my parents at the time. It's like, could you come over here so I can demo this, please? And then eventually like like even the employee was like starting to like feel bad for me. It's like, I could just hold on to your phone. That could work. And I was like, yes, yes, please. But then eventually my family did come over, and they had that little like I don't know, they gave something. But anyways, that was actually the first time I did demo it, and then the other time was just like later on in high school on that field trip. But I was definitely interested in VR for a long time before I got my hands on it, even if it was just a demo. But it was definitely like a long time coming when I wanted to try it. And the thing I did demo was just some archery, like tower defense game.
Gotcha. It's so a lot of this initial experience and exposure to it. Would you say that it was almost kind of like this difficult to obtain way to transport yourself into another world, and you only had so much access to it until suddenly one day you had a headset of your own?
Yeah, because like yeah, Facebook really did just kind of dominate that market when they released the all-in-one. It's like it was suddenly just widely accessible to a lot of people because earlier, the barrier to entry is just like you gotta like drop at least like a couple grand or something because you had to get, a PC and then a headset on top of that if you had nothing, like completely starting out. And at the time, that was basically where I was at. So I just thought it was something way like further off into the future that I wouldn't really, get to try on my own until, that came around. Actually, I was pretty lucky because there was the first quest and I could have gone it at the time, but then I ended up just keeping my money one way or another. And so like shortly after that, they released the second one at an even cheaper price. I was like, oh, cool, perfect. Now I'll just get that instead. So, but yeah, it was a lot of just like wishing and hoping just for, experiencing the VR and just all the other stuff. But
Absolutely.
It was definitely out of reach for a long while. I was mainly just looking up videos and clips and just like, how does it look? Because a lot of times when people are reviewing stuff or talking about content of the side of the kind, it's like it's hard to explain. It's hard to describe. You just gotta like experience it for yourself. It's like I wish I could. Yeah, but actually, I do remember building. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
no, go ahead.
Yeah, I do remember like doing the Google Cardboard like VR thing.
Oh,
yeah. In fact, I think I guess technically that would be my first exposure. No, because I legit use that as like no wait. If I think about the timeline with that, no, I think I still demoed it, but then I did have that and I used that for like a school project. I like did it like a report on it. I think it went over pretty well because it was funny. I was like in the classroom, they're like passing around. It was literally just your phone, like just stuck in this tiny little like thing you made out of cardboard.
Watch some roller coaster videos.
Yeah. No, not gonna lie. I think I made it out of like I made it out of the cardboard of like a pizza box I had, but I was going for the clean parts of it. I swear it wasn't greasy. Like God, dude, the acne I would have like been causing people. Dear God. No, looking back on it might not have been the best decision, but looking back on it's also incredibly funny. But yeah, they're passing around. There's oohs and ahs going around. I felt pretty like satisfied with my presentation, other than the fact that like I wanted my phone back, pretty quick. They were taking their sweet time. Yeah.
All right, Makers, what you got, man?
What?
Makers is thinking about pizza.
You already drifted off.
Pizza mention?
No. So F2P, like we go back a little bit. So we played a little bit of After the Fall that one time, but even before then. You were on Apex, and I remember Epoch was like, hey man, because this was during the MMR drama, and like Epoch was like, hey, he's like, we would give you like our best players basically if like we like I don't know, like there was just talks of all kinds of crazy stuff, and so he brought you up. I remember way back then. He's like, hey man, you keep your eye on F2P. He's like one of our best players, and that was like way back, in the Soul, Apex Epoch days. So my question is that when I go into Discord lately, there's like a whole like new generation. Like you came in after you were like we were like the old generation, and you came in like in that like, oh, I feel like I'm a little late generation, but now you're the old head, like you're the old veteran. And in Discord, I've been seeing people talk about like who's the best player in the game, like in the game, not like, right now or in the match, and your name has come up like a couple times. I've seen that. I'm like, damn, F2P is like he stepped it up. So my question to you is like, in your opinion of seeing like the league progress, like how do you feel? Do you feel like you're coming into your own, or do you feel like you know, some of the veterans have left, so therefore there's more space to work, and like there's like newer players? Like I'm curious because I haven't been on the ground level really to like see and like I trust your opinion from seeing like the league grow. Like how do you feel? Do you feel you're top of your game and you're gunning for like top 3, you know, maybe even MVD this season? Or are you kind of feeling like, you know, it's just like, hey, all of us Dasher players are kind of rising to the top, you know, with this new generation?
I would have to go with the latter, where it's just like it feels like everyone's just on the rise. It feels like the overall level was like just increased because I would not have expected my name to come in like those types of discussions. Because I don't see myself close to the top 3, you know. But I do feel like slowly coming into my own. I feel like this happens a lot with me in games. I hit a stride like early on, but just as quick, I tend to plateau, and so it feels like I hit a wall. It's like I'm stuck, and there's not much improvement there. But lately, I don't know, some things just clicked. Then again, I did like uh step away from the game for a little bit. Maybe just that break kind of helped like things
Mm-hmm.
ease here and there. But yeah, I feel like overall, like a lot of people are just, you know, getting better whenever I look. It feels like there's just a lot of talent going around. And yeah, there are people like also leaving here and there. And it also just feels like there are a lot of new names that pop up occasionally and they just tend to surprise you and get you when you least expect it. But I don't I mean I would and you know, I would like to have that type of, you know, aspiration and drive to do like all that and you know approach those, you know, those high
Yeah.
like pedestals and like top,
Well,
you know, top
so
tiers. But
you took the humble answer, you know, and so, but which is good, you know. I put it out there for you to take it, and you know, you've always been like a straight dude. You're not like a drama guy in Discord. You've been like, you know, I think you would make a really good MVD, like from a personality to game point, like everything, like the whole round. So I would root for you for sure. If you just like keep your momentum up. And then that humble answer of, yeah, like the old vets are kind of just rising. And so that's also not true too, because some of the vets I talk to, like those are the people who I talk to, like Castle and some of these other guys who are good players, been around just as long. And they're like, nah, bro, this guy is on fire. He's just cooking in scrims. He's cooking left and right. So, you know, you took the humble answer, but in my opinion, I'm hearing that you're on fire, man. So, you know, if this is your season to take it, go chase it, man. I'm rooting for you.
oh, thanks, I really appreciate it. Now, I guess with that extra confidence boost, maybe I should put more hours in the game.
Dude, I will say something to piggyback off that is like, first off, F2P and I think also Snarples are two of the most underrated players for the longest time. They're both such great players, but you know they don't. I you know I haven't seen where you said makers. People are talking about best and bringing up F2P. That I kind of ignore the general discussion channel and the off-topic channel. It's too much to read. I'll read Dash League and ignore the others. So maybe they're talking about it over there, but I think it's totally deserved. F2P in that conversation, an absolute amazing player. F2P, I remember the time when you took a break, whatever, because I think that was when you were on Other. I remember my last season on Other, we were like we had just such inactivity going on that I remember sending you a DM and saying because you weren't as active as some of the other players and telling you like, dude, we need you, like where you at, what's going on? You're like, all right, I'll try to show up more. I think that was probably right around when you were getting kind of burned out and stuff. I'm happy to hear you've hit your groove and you're getting much more interested in it. That's great to me, and absolutely, I'd support you for MVD too. You're a fucking great player and great personality, and like very deserving of that sort of stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just it feels like lately I've been having more fun with it, so it's definitely been helpful in like pushing me towards that. Just
Yeah.
willing to put that effort in.
That's awesome. Well, I wanted to know what your interests are outside the game. Like, what other hobbies do you have? What other things do you find interesting? Do you spend your time on that sort of stuff?
Um, let's see. I mean, a lot of my off time, I do just tend to swipe through and read like a lot of webtoons, like webcomics, that deal, and I just consume a lot of content. I feel like I'm on like, it's funny because I'm like nowhere near touching like social media, like any type, whether it's like, Instagram or I don't know. I've never downloaded TikTok, or like I don't really talk much in big servers on Discord. But on the flip side, I'm like eating up like streams after streams. I'm just watching YouTube daily. But like I spend a lot of my time with that, and just reading a lot of different types. Like I've consumed a lot of like manga or manhwa, just the like Korean comics or Japanese. But lately I'm trying to like just play other games too, because for a long time I feel like uh after, you know finding communities, especially like, the Dash League, and just a lot of fun people to hang around. It feels like I crave that type of, social gaming and those interactions. So for a while, I wasn't having as much fun single player, but lately I'm trying to like play other games too, where it's just uh I can just chill out and be on my own. Like, what's it? I think Hades 2 is coming out this year.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, yeah. And actually, it hasn't been too long since I actually got a like like a PC. For the longest time I just didn't have one. But I got one for like actually, has it been a few months now? But like it was just pretty recent, probably in comparison to a lot of other people. So I played like Hades, and I finished the main story, but it's a roguelike, so it's just constant repetitive, just go back in and again. But a lot of hobbies would just lean towards like either reading like some type of comic or watching YouTube, and then the occasional like other game, whether it's single player or like I find like a little group to play with. But other than that, it's just I find myself going back to the Hyperdash.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting answer. I feel like that's that's your generation's like what me and makers would probably say, like, if you asked us when we were teenagers or something like that. It's like, oh, what do you do for a hobby? It's like watch TV, read books. It's like the new generation's answer of that. It's like, oh, I watch YouTube and read manga. It's like, yeah,
That's true.
that's Gen Z. Yeah,
Some things don't
it's the
really
same
change,
thing.
do they?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
It's just a different coat of paint, or just it's more or
pretty
less
much.
the
Yeah,
same. Yeah, because I don't know. I like to be active, but then like I was just like before, like I remember I used to play a lot of basketball as a kid, but
I did too. That was the thing that would get me out of the house. Was I always had like a basketball goal in the driveway. Would always try to find people to play basketball with. That's what I always like to do. Also,
yeah,
yeah.
I got a park nearby, so it was always nice to just head over there. But after school, it was always actually like before school started, and then after school, and then at lunch. I don't know, some type of sport, just keep kill time. But yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah.
online activity these days.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. What do you got, Goose?
Oh, right. So my second question is, do you have any special routines when preparing for a match?
All right, so it's kind of funny because for a good while, like early on, like when I was still like fairly new in Dash League, I will admit, um, I may or may not have like warmed up at all when I should have. A lot of times, it's funny because I think it's been brought up like at one point or another, like whether it's from like a caster or commentator, it's just like it feels like I'm not doing my usual, and then the second map in, I start to like hit my strides, get a
Right,
groove
right.
in. So it's just like the first map was my warm up.
Oh my
But
gosh.
um, anything special? I mean, before a match, uh, I mean, I try to hit pubs when I can, but the only thing I do like consistently other than that, if I were to just try and like get a quick like get my hands kind of warm, I tend to just go into like just training mode deathmatch and then just keep going like for speed runs essentially. Like just
Okay.
I've done like muscle memory just routes like the first opening. Like but like I should probably be doing more. I just don't really have any like specific drills or anything of the like. It's just in the beginning I was just coming in completely cold. And then slowly later on I was just like, maybe that's not the best idea. Maybe I should be
So it's
giving
your
more
fault
thought.
other never won that
messes to
championship.
Hey, no. You can't be putting all the blame on me.
That's funny.
Yeah.
What you got?
So it's pretty obvious that like Hyperdash especially, but video games in general, the social aspect has been a really important part of this for you. And what I'm wondering is how you first felt about the social aspect of Dash League and being on a team even by itself, and if you ever had experience with teamwork in some other circumstance before, during, or after Dash League, and whether anything carried over from one to another.
Well, right. So, coming into it, I will say it was more or less like my first like experience when it comes to like really like competitive gaming of that type of like that type of atmosphere.
Yeah.
And so it was like a mix of just like real like genuine just excitement and also like nerves. And then I remember I do remember like the first like couple matches, like I'm just like just shaking from nerves because it's like just thinking of like even if it's still like still like relatively like niche or small like little community, it was still just like the whole vibe was different. It's because I was actually like trying to communicate with other people and like
do you
play as a
remember
team.
what team you were on or who you were playing against in some of those first matches?
I do remember because I went back to watch it just because like it was weird. It was like surreal to see like your tag on a stream or on a video. But I think it was yeah, it was season 3 was when I joined, and I was on Apex, and I think it was against Phoenix at the time with I think it was a Canyon. I remember there was a couple plays that like stuck in my head, but like a lot of it was just like in the
scarred for
beginning.
life?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it was like it's like those split-second decision type of deals where it's like, what if I did this instead? I was like the only times I was like really like thinking hard about, I guess, just going back into like the footage and analyzing it. But the thing is, I didn't have like my own POV recorded. I was just looking at the stream. It's like, oh, look, Mom, I'm on camera, I'm on TV.
I think that's one of the things that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm still organizing my thoughts.
Well, I was just going to say, you said like you get a little nervous and that sort of stuff, and I think probably a part of that for everyone in this league is knowing that your match is going to be broadcast. And a lot of competitive games either don't have that at all or don't have it to the extent that we have it. We're extremely lucky in this league that almost every single match gets cast. Not even like bigger games than Hyperdash can say that for their competitive games. So it's awesome that like pretty much everyone who's going to play knows that they're going to have their matches cast, and I'm sure that adds an element to like the heightened adrenaline and nerves and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly, because even like the smaller like Walker matches, there's people still watching those. Like it's not like you have an audience no matter what.
Yeah, and like even at times, okay, I just remember the one Walker match where it was complete chaos, but I like there are other like genuine ones where it was like they honestly felt more engaging because it was just like you don't know who's gonna come on top, or it's just more of a wild card, and you're just interested in these two teams going up against each other. So like I'd say even like for some people, they were actually like equally or more engaging than some other casts, just depending on the person and preference. But sorry, I can't forget like. I forgot exactly the two teams, but I remember like there was just a lot of mix up going around, and then Lat tried to join in and settle like some things, and he got shot in the face.
Oh right.
Oh yeah, that was a good clip.
That was such a good clip. No, it was just wild. That one was special in its own right. That one's just.
It made me happy knowing that Lat was just like outraged for that maybe 10 seconds. Like while he was
it's so funny just thinking about how he usually is, and then he's trying to stay professional. Like he just tries to gloss like past it, and it's like good for him on that. But it's just funny just knowing.
It's a hilarious clip.
Yeah,
someone should post it. Goose, if you can cut that in, that would be amazing.
We'll get it.
Flash on screen.
Yeah, I can't remember what match that was, but like I remember that moment. And I remember when the player shot me in the face, I wasn't mad at all because I knew it like, well, first off, I can still talk to people and tell them what I'm trying to tell them in there. And I know that people on the cast are going to find it hilarious, so that's good. And also, I thought it was funny because I can't remember the player that shot me either, some Euro player. But it was just so...
Fair versus Immortal, and Fair shot you.
Was it the Fair versus Immortal match? That infamous... Oh my god, even better.
So, I watched that entire thing.
I loved it.
So yeah, if you get that clip, Goose, and put it in and post, that would be hilarious. But the thing that I thought was so funny about it was that player was so nonchalant about it. They didn't say a word.
No respect. Didn't care.
They just just raised their guns, pop, and then just stood in the same spot they were. Didn't say a word after shooting me. It's just like you know what, screw this guy. So I
just casually shoots the head.
Yeah, yeah, I thought that was great.
And that's the match that started like half an hour late, right?
Everything that could have happened wrong with that match happened wrong with that match. So that's definitely something when we get to do like when our lore pathway gets us there. I definitely want to talk about that match.
So it's great. Just sometimes you get a miracle like that. So just the fact that like all these matches are being casted, huge ups to everyone that's involved with the stuff. But that was just it's so entertaining.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone is part of any other leagues, but I mean, what Lat said about the percentage of casts, I mean, it's not even close. Like in Veil, Breachers, these other leagues, even the multiple different leagues within those games, it's like, it's more like a single-digit percentage of matches are casted, and they have like a voting system of whoever is the most requested, and then so it really becomes like a smaller handful, but they're short staffed. So what's going on here in Dash League right now with all these volunteers and all these people, it's like a much bigger thing than pretty much any league I've seen right now. So
yeah, real quick plug, we need more casters, we need more commentators. Our casting apparatus is pretty sweet. It's not hard to get into. Willow has everything mapped out so you can like step right into it. And of course, you'll have some questions and stuff, but there's the other people in the casting. People you can lean on, people that are willing and want to help get you set up. So we need more. Yeah, we need more. Like Goose has to take a massive, heavy carry this season, getting all the matches and stuff like that. And Dashel's does heavy carry and whatever. So it'd be nice to have some more people so that we don't have to scramble so hard to get some of the matches. So yeah, reach out to Willow or reach out to me or reach out to any of the casters and let them know if you're interested in doing that, and we'll get you going. But only if you're serious about it. We have so many people come up and say, hey, I want to do it, and then we take the time to get them all set up, and then they don't cast a match at all. So serious applicants only, but we could definitely use the help. But anyway, Makers, let's actually, before we get to you, Makers, Gollum reminded me with his question that I completely forgot how I wanted to start this interview, which was asking F2P.
Oh, great. We're like middle of it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know, F2P, we were supposed to start this with asking you what the origin of your name was, the origin of how you found Dash.
Actually.
Yeah. So tell us.
That could be Maker's question then, Lat.
Okay. Yeah.
Just pretend he thought of it.
Yeah, this is Maker's question. I'm going to ask it for him. Tell us your origin story of the name, of how you found Dash League, and then how you got onto your first team.
Yeah, casually like 40, 50 minutes in. It's like, who are we talking about again? Who is this guy?
Yeah. This is F2P. If you guys don't know, he's a great guy.
Hi. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So as for Origins, so I did mention that recently I did get like a PC, but for the longest time I did play a little bit on was essentially a family computer, but it was literally an all-in-one, so it was pretty limited. But I did have Steam download on it, and one of the games that I kept coming back to, both for like content seeing on YouTube as well as playing it myself, was TF2. And so, um, I remember during that specific time, there was like a huge just following that was really active. I mean, it's still active today, but like it's pretty wild to think about. But during the time, like there's a lot of like servers, I think, and I was just having fun with it. And when I was creating my name, I remember I was like seeing in the kill feed. I don't know why, but it used like the email I created the account with for a while. And it's like, shoot, how do I change that? And then I was like thinking of like what to name myself, and for a good while, um, it was not F2P. I actually named myself like Mr. Butt or some shit. I was like, I was
nothing brilliant, right?
That's your new name. That's your new name.
No. Okay, but it's a capital B at least. You gotta be formal. You gotta have the honorifics. But like, yeah. So, the reason I chose that was, there was microtransactions in there. There's a big joke in the community about hats galore, people trading hats. There's a huge economy, just there's a lot of money put into it. But if you weren't into the whole fashion show of the game, and there was just a section of free to play like players, and so it's really just F2P, like just the free to plays, because TF2 was I think still is a free to play game. And so I put a lot of like just attention to it and time into it, even though I don't think I actually have like the most hours in it. But at the time, I played it a lot in comparison to like other stuff, and so I chose that name because I thought it was just funny, just like embracing that type of identity. Because when you first start out, you can actually unlock certain items, but they're like it's like the free to play like starter pack. You get like this like worn down like crummy hat. It's like like a top hat that's like its lid is like coming off. I think it's called a gibbous, and then you get like these goggles that look goofy, that are pretty big, and then you get like a badge.
There's a whole like free to play outfit out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's like this gibbous hat and pyrovision goggles, but like I embraced it. I was like, "Yup, that's me." I'm free to play, and so it's like I'll use that as my name because it's short and sweet and it's easy to remember. So like that, and then after that, I just stuck with it because I couldn't be bothered with it, and since I played with it for a good while, it just kept going along with me. Because even on games that aren't free to play, it's just like I would spin the meaning around to my own, where it's just like I'm free to play my own way, like whether I'm just like doing silly shit or like it was pretty easy to do in that game because there's a lot of quirks it has.
Yeah, it's very cartoonish and explodey.
Yeah, you can rocket jump as a soldier. You can hit people like critical damage by rocket jumping and smacking them with a shovel. You can there's a lot of goofy stuff in that game, but so even when I'm playing other games, I stuck with that name because it just felt like if people ever criticize saying, "What do you mean free to play? You bought a cosmetic." It's like, I don't care. That's I can just play it how I want. So that'll just be the new meaning, I guess, because other times I can be semi-serious, and then other times I'm completely not serious.
Yeah, that explanation of it seems to fit you pretty well.
Yeah, you catch me double shielding on cart, doing my darndest, going 0 and 50.
But so then, kind of to summarize, you're kind of saying that free to play F2P, the name to you kind of symbolizes how you play games by and large for fun and also for the effort that you put into it, both as part of that fun and for the fulfillment that you get from trying to play well instead of some other aspects of games like hats, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I won't deny, certain cosmetics are pretty fire, and it's like
Oh, yeah.
I've definitely fallen into temptation pretty recently of just like, oh, maybe I will. Because like if I've played it enough, it's like I might as well like the look of it while I'm playing it. But yeah, because games originally, for your entertainment, your enjoyment. So if I'm not, enjoying myself, what's the point? But so yeah, a lot of it I find my own ways to have fun with it because then that keeps me in the game longer, and also at the same time, like I could potentially find like little tricks here and there that actually give me like a small bits of improvement from time to time. But yeah, because if it's constantly, competitive, nothing wrong with that. Different strokes for different folks, but like for me personally, I have like certain times where I goof off and then other times where I do want to play seriously. And so I just want to be able to enjoy both like sides, both aspects of a game like that because
For
I don't
sure.
know, yeah, as I see it, if it offers me that, I'm gonna take it, in full force, full stride because that's how I enjoy myself with games.
So let's get into sorry, Makers, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that kind of leads into like a clarifying question I wanted to ask earlier. I think I was on one of Lat's questions about some of the other things you do. Maybe it was Gollum, but anyway. So do you comp in any other game like VR or flat screen? Do you actually like on a team or competed in the past or present other than Hyperdash?
Right, yeah. Sorry, I wasn't able to get to that. I forgot about that part of the question, but yeah, so yeah, more or less this was my first type of like competitive setting, but I have played like other games, but not officially like on a team. It's more just like playing general ranked in certain games. Like a lot, I was pretty obsessed with two specific games. It was Splatoon 2 and it was Rocket League. And so there are times when it's like so those games are, heavily team focused because one's really, soccer with cars, and then the other one it's a 4v4, and there's different game modes, and so depending on the game mode, you just have to. I never really, squatted up with and like other people in the sense that I can actually communicate with them. So that's why this is, more or less,
Okay.
my first competitive setting. So there's not much I could like experience I could transfer over other than just general game sense and trying to get a feel for what other people are trying to do and then play off of that because in Rocket League there's like sometimes people are pushing up, you want to pull back, or you have to like set it yourself up and be open for opportunities. And then same in like Splatoon where you can make certain plays with people depending on the elo. As if it's like high enough, then you can get some natural chemistry going. But other than that, I didn't have any like uh you know professional type of like comms going together, or
Well,
competitive type of mindset.
that's a good segue to get into the other part of that question, which is like how you found the league and got onto your first team. So like how did you discover the league, or who told you about it? How did you get onto that team, and also like what made you change your mind to actually, yeah, I do want to compete and be with the team and like do this thing a little bit more in a schedule, or I guess organized, scheduled sort of fashion rather than just your F2P play style and all that.
Right, yeah. So trying to like trying to like scour through my like the archives of my brain, like scraping at the back of like the dusty old file cabinets, my memories. I do remember, so it was Epoch that introduced me to like generally everything, where I think it was just by chance. I think it was on just a stadium control point in a pub, but he like reached out and it's like, hey, you want to like join this server or something? And it's like talks of just doing more about the game other than just going through pubs. And then at the time I was like, I was still am like pretty big like introvert wise, but I thought, this is a game I'm really enjoying, and it's like seems really cool, the concept and stuff. There's more for it to offer, then I should, you know, take that chance and just like see what it can provide. And so I remember I joined the Soul like Discord server. I got acquainted with like other people, and I did join the team they were setting up. It was Apex. It was me, Epoch, G-Man, Reefer, and Dolphy. And then we did field some other people, but a lot of the games were played with us five. But I do remember because we did recruit. I think it was Persona Armageddon. Armageddon, is that? I think that was the name, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
That's right.
yeah. But unfortunately, he wasn't. Yeah, I didn't see him in many matches, and I was like curious about when he was playing because it felt like it was gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah, and then playing through that, I do remember before actually joining that, I did like find some like scrim teams here and there, just and I was still like completely new to all. I felt like a deer in the headlights or just like some lost like lamb or like giraffe that was just born. I was like struggling to stand on my feet.
Do you
But
think if this league didn't have such like a strong social aspect to it, if it was more like you got recruited to a team and it was like win win win, why didn't you show up to practice? Like grind set. You think you would have stuck around and had fun with it, or is it more like the sort of social aspect and whatever?
I gotta say, I'm pretty sure like I can speak for a good vast like majority of people where it is like just the social aspect that keeps a lot of
Mhm.
us here because there's a lot of fun characters and a lot of people to meet, and
Yeah.
it's just really like fun to hang around and build those connections with. If it was just constantly grind set, I mean everyone would be burned out, and then there's it's just a lot of like friendships that people have made just through this game, and it is such a special community that has been like built here. So if it weren't for that, I definitely would have like jumped ship at some point along the lines. But I just keep coming back because there's always someone to talk to or just people you see, and then always
Yeah.
you can always find a good time somewhere.
Yeah, I do think you do speak for a lot of people with that answer. I think I would
Yeah.
have to say it's probably
Yeah.
the vast majority of the people.
Yep.
Makers, did you have something?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you used my technique of clarifying the question to butt in and speak some more. So yeah, no, but my actual question was, as far as like you getting better, you obviously aren't like the show up super early and warm up for an hour and all that kind of stuff, and it sounds like even like your offline route running or what, it's like you don't have like some kind of OCD journal of like insanity doing that, but you did say you watch a lot of streams and you consume a lot of that info. So do you like study film? Do you watch matches? Was there like a player that you modeled after, or like certain groups of players or a style? Like what was like your journey once you were like, bro, I want to get better? Like did you do that at all, or did you kind of just wing it? How did you kind of model your play style?
There was a lot of winging it along the lines, but uh, I did take like a lot of reference from different people, whether it's just their movement or like mindset, or I messed a lot. Like I messed around a lot with different gun holds and like button layouts because I've really done like all types of shooting there is other than like actually like seriously giving stick shooting a try because that shit's just funny.
Yeah. Wow.
Especially with like stick drift. No, but like I remember uh I would try to like model a lot of other people's gun holds because if something did like try and work, if something stuck, and then I'd see just different ways people would different positions people would take, but I don't think I would go too hard on like film study. It's more just like if something caught my eye, I would explore it in depth and like further. But there was a lot of just winging it a lot of the time, and then uh picking things up here and there, whether it's just like in game and just picking up pieces of like all different sorts of players, because it always feels like there's just one little thing that someone else knows that the other doesn't, and then it's just, if you build it all together, you can pull something from that. And so I didn't look too hard, but there's definitely like people I've referenced from time to time, but not like too in
Right.
depth on one certain person. I kept like hopping from the next and see if I can get get a little bit better each time. If
So you
something
would
sticks.
So you'd use like, on the field experience, like observing like someone beats you in something or a position or some kind of technique, and then observing that like in the game and using that mainly to learn. Is that about right?
Yeah, it's like, oh man, if someone beat me using this thing, it's like I gotta pick that up too. It's like that's a nice little trick. Mind if I yoink?
Oh, that's why
Yeah.
you double shield on cart. It beat you before.
I mean,
I
honestly,
learned from the kids. Yes.
well, I mean, for people listening, it's like, I mean, that's kind of the difference between like the people who go to the top. I mean, yeah, there's some innate talent in there too, but using your time effectively in game is a big deal. Like, it is great to relax and have fun and just shoot without effort, but for every hour you spend, it's like, how much of that is going to getting better or observing or, looking at a mistake, not at like, oh, this guy lagged me or this guy is cheating. It's like, no, like, what did he do? That was actually smart. Or, and so, I mean, hearing kind of that's what you did to learn almost primarily. I mean, it sounds like you did some other stuff. I kind of think that's the way to go. You get your actual like hands-on time instead of just obsessing over film and watching stuff and never actually doing, which a lot of people do. So I mean, yeah, using your time effectively, that's a recommendation I give for everybody, and I'm glad to hear that's what you did.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like deliberate practice like trumps a lot of just mindlessly, going around pubs. If you're like really trying to like iron out certain skills or really drill in something, you just like choose a single thing to practice on and really improve, you'll probably see a lot of progress that way.
Yep. No, I agree.
Yep. I wanted to ask you something that you might have already answered, but this was one of my prepared questions. Was what is like your most memorable moment playing Hyperdash, like League or Hyperdash or whatever? I know you mentioned the how fun it was for you to see me get shot in that match. I don't know if that was your favorite moment, but if not,
It's
do
up
you
there.
have another one, or is that, yeah? So tell us about that.
um I remember, I mean, I guess there's like two things, and one is just because of like, well, I feel like there's other plays, but I'm blanking on them. But I do remember one play that I did that I felt pretty proud of, even if it was pretty simple. But and then a different thing where it's just in a pub, just meeting some people. But so for the play, I think it was um I forgot when it was, but I think it was against Hot U. I know people always call them like Ho2 or something, but I remember it was on a canyon and the cart was just about to like go into the checkpoint. I can't remember if we were like close to hitting it or not, like time limit wise, but I remember I was just dashing around trying to get people off cart, but then at a time there was like three people on, and I was blue, they were red, and I was like, oh fuck this, and so it's like there was no rockets at the time, so I was like, well, I mean, if they're not gonna use it, yeah. So I just hopped up, I took one rocket in my hand, and I tried to like just get them off the cart in that
Blast
moment.
them to
So
smithereens.
yeah, so I remember it was just that moment where I felt like, oh my god, my neurons, they're firing, my brain, it's working. I'm not just mindlessly playing. I had to think. What is thinking? No, but I mean, it's like I remember I looked back on it and there's like a couple comments that did like brought attention to that, and so I felt proud of myself for that moment. Where it's just like, hey, that's technically a play. And I was like earlier on, and so I think there's other times like that where it felt like there was a situation and then like uh, trying to come up with a solution to address it like in the moment, like split second, and so I remember that one stuck with me. But And then there's another moment where it wasn't competitive, but I remember I misspoke at the time, but actually, what was it? When I was first like just playing Hyperdash in general, I got the game. This is why I messed up. I was really looking forward to the game. I saw it like trailer wise. I was like, this looks like fun. I want to give it a shot. It was still on side quest for a bit, but eventually it did release like officially on on the stores on like Oculus. But for some reason or another, I just didn't get it, and so it's like a month passed, and then I finally bought it. But I remember I constantly like found myself in a match with Tor, and I remember he released like a few videos that were like trying to like help out, and I remember I was like, oh hey, you're the guy in the video, and I tried to like strike up a conversation with him. I don't remember if I think I did actually. I mustered up a little bit of courage and then actually spoke out first, but I remember I think he asked how long I played. I was like, "Oh, I got this game on release." But then like I said that, but then I remember it's like, wait, no, I didn't. So it's like at the time it was like it's been a month after the release date, but in actuality I was only like playing 4 days. But I remember that too because it was a tough match because I think I got my first taste of like what high level was because I played a waterway and Taser was actually in that lobby and I was like, damn, like it can like actually the skill ceiling can get this high. So it was definitely overwhelming at the start, but it was fun to see where it could potentially lead to and go. So it's just like the first there's a memory where it's just like having that introduced me, and then that other memory where it's like I felt like just proud of a specific play. But those are two things that stuck out just when off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's cool. I know
excited by possibility.
I know Tor would be Tor would love that you were starstruck when you met him and all that stuff. Tor would eat that up. I miss Tor. I think a lot of people miss Tor. He was a great dude also.
Yep. Yeah. I miss his shield experiments like on the early days.
Oh my god. They were so annoying on other because it was like, dude, you're better without the shield. Stop it.
he was forcing it. Like
But like every weapon he was trying all the weapons. He's like, if I stand here with the shield and just the SMG right here and I don't move, I'm like a turret. And I'm like, yeah, but people can dash behind you, dude.
Yeah. Hey, I respected the trying, like
for sure.
different stuff.
Yeah, a lot of
and he was all about that. Yeah, he was all about experimenting. He was one of those original glitch hunters. Dude loves just like toying around with stuff, tinkering. I mean, well, not to get off on a tangent on Tor. It's not about Tor, but anyway, he was definitely one of those dudes, and he was great to have around. I miss that dude.
Yeah,
I think we all.
Yeah, that's how you be a pioneer. That's how you trailblaze. You just try stuff, and if something works, then it just gameplay just evolves from there.
Yeah, for sure. You got to think out of the box to be a pioneer, and he definitely did. I think we'll go through like one more question each. I think I have a fun one at the end, so I'll wrap it up. But we'll get Goose. Did you have another question?
Yeah, so I just have a fun one too, actually, to conclude with. Mine is, if you could combine one other game with Hyperdash, what would it be? So taking elements of another game and sticking in Hyperdash.
Mario Striker.
Mario Striker.
The hats from TF2.
That's the hats. Cosmetics would be kind of cool. No. I don't know. It's hard to imagine because like I just haven't been playing as many other games that just really stuck with me or struck a chord, and so I can't think like off the top of my head. So I'd probably,
Utility, nades, smokes, Molotovs. Anyway,
middle finger.
Yeah, just only emotes. No, imagine there was utility. Start turning into just really fast-paced CS:GO.
Right. I
swear to God, you start getting lineups. No.
I mean, you can triple dash before the nade falls. I mean, I don't know. There's a reason why there's no util in Hyperdash.
Yeah. Well, I remember when people would argue for that hard. Like I haven't kept up with like the actual Hyperdash servers basically since I started the league because it's too much to keep up with. But I remember like early alphas, people asking for grenades and swords and all this sort of stuff. And the devs wanted to please the community. Like I was so staunchly against sprinting and stuff because I'm like, you're gonna ruin like the the chess match of like dashing and dash strategy and blah blah blah. But the devs would try to please early on, and so like they brought the sprinting. They tried the sword. Luckily, that thing didn't work out, and I was always so worried that they were going to start bringing in grenades and mines, and I'm like, please God, no. Then luckily
they slowed the sprinting down too, if you remember, like because people just were outraged, and they actually did a little tweaking to the sprint.
You know, I don't know if they slowed the speed of it, but used to if you hit the sprint button, you sprinted for a certain amount of time automatically, and they changed it to where it was like as long as you press the button, you would sprint, and if you let it go, you'd stop. Because originally you just hit the button, and it would automatically give you a sprint boost for a certain amount of time.
That's interesting.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, and
yeah,
maybe they made it
brutal.
cost. Maybe they made it cost more dash for.
Maybe.
I don't know. There was some tweaking there. It wasn't just like
there definitely was.
Yeah, once they put it out there, people were outraged though. Like all the old vets were like, "No, what is this sprint? What is this?
What is a change in my video game?"
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's like Alpha 4 or 5 or something when they bring it in, and we're like, "What are all the, we're all noobs at the game at the time?" But it's like, what are all these noobs asking for sprint for? It's like, man, the veterans don't want this. We've been playing for 2 months.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, just imagine like having a smoke grenade. just
just
plop that. Like, all right, so now we just have free reign down main rail.
All right, Gal, you got one more?
Yeah. If anything, about the fulfillment that you find from the game and from the community and from the teamwork aspect of this game has changed from when you've started to when you've finished, what fulfillment that you look for out of matches, out of being on a team, out of being in the game has been changed over time through your experience, if anything?
Sorry, not gonna lie, I'm still trying to like process the question.
What when you initially came to the game, you seem to have described that you were excited by the possibilities of a lot of what you saw from highly skilled players like Taser or Tor in matches, and were interested in playing VR for ever since you've been watching Node videos and going to demos, and you've been haven't really played in a teamwork aspect before starting this game, and haven't necessarily played on a teamwork-based competitive field with communication before this game. And I'd imagine that's not something that you can expect to have done as much as you have when you initially started. And I'm just wondering if your expectations of yourself and what in particular you enjoy about playing Hyperdash and playing in Dash League has changed from when you've started versus where you're at now, having played this game more, having played with teams more, having gotten to know people more. Is what you enjoy about the game something that's changed? And if not, then what is it, if you had to choose one thing that you enjoy the most about it?
Yeah, so yeah, at the beginning it was it was because I didn't have those connections at the start. So it was like, more, self-focused, where it's just about the improvement and the growth at the time. And so every time, that goes for any game for me, honestly, just seeing some sort of progress is really fulfilling, and like seeing yourself improve, it helps also with just motivation to continue alongside of it. But then at a certain point, getting to know more and more people, seeing the same like names and faces, I did like discover that aspect of the game where like, a lot of the enjoyment comes from those interactions, those just whether fighting against or alongside certain people. And so that did become like new, like where I got most of my enjoyment from, just being able to interact with those people in pubs or in certain games. And then further expanding on that, yeah, getting a taste of competitive. It was all new to me at the time, and it was exciting because it's just like it was a game that people could. It was an environment where people could really like take things seriously, and it was new to me. And it's just like, yeah, we can we can strat talk things up, and we can try hash things out. And and get a plan going and see it, play out and execute. Usually not perfectly, but failures and successes along the way. So, like, after everything, all of it, I mean, I guess it's just one thing kept piling on top of the other. Where in the beginning it was just me, it was just on my own, and I still enjoyed that aspect. Just constant self improvement. And then I slowly got connected with more people, and then enjoying those connections with people, then I got to play with those said people against like other amazing players, and then so in terms of enjoyment, I still would put interactions with others just in a just a nice, cozy, just chilled out like pub lobby, probably above all. But I do get a good kick out of like really trying to work well on the team competitive wise, and because like
real quick, sorry, go ahead, dude.
Because it was just like I slowed down on my own improvement, so like I did just have a lot of fun with other players, both casual and competitive.
Well, I just want to ask a real quick piggyback off that. Your favorite things, the social aspect. Who's like the best friend you've made, person you've met through the league?
Yeah, it better be not Gollum, by the way.
It's definitely not Gollum.
Yeah, so it was Notgollum. All right, so you can PayPal me the 20 after the
all right, yeah, we'll work out the details.
Yeah, no, but
fill out the compensation
that's cheap
form.
in Hyperdash League scales.
You're right. I should have asked for more, but
$9.50.
Damn, it's like, well, I guess just a lot of the people I've played with, most often.
Do you play games with any people that you've met in Hyperdash in other games nowadays?
Yeah, actually, and it was finally when I could actually afford a PC, so I was able to actually hang out with these people. But it was because Doll actually kept setting up those lobbies. I remember when I used to join like captains a lot, and then like there's some other lobbies that would just be like frequent and always at the same times. But recently, as of late, it was a lot of Doll's lobbies, and eventually, it just like good vibes were all around, and so I got closer with specific people. Specifically, it was like I remember I played a lot of just pub matches with Persona, and then I remember there's a big group that we did have that would just play other VR games, whether it's like Township Tale or just hanging out in VR chat or Rec Room, and then I got closer with like Castle like near the end of that, and also Doll herself when she hosted those lobbies, and just currently playing like certain games either with them like all together or on and off, but like being able to play like Lethal Company or just other games. So those three just come off the top of my head, but
those are all great answers. I mean, Persona's super fun to play with in pubs also, like you are. Like she's just super giggly, and every time I play her, I always act like I'm upset at her killing me and stuff like that. It just makes her laugh, and I enjoy playing with her a lot. Doll, of course, is Doll. Everyone knows she's awesome. But Castle's a bitch, and everyone knows that.
Castle, you suck. No, I'm kidding.
I'm joking, Castle.
Persona you got Doll sucks. Yeah.
My turn, right?
Yeah.
Is this these last question? Is that what's happening right
now?
Yeah, yeah. You're the capstone, man.
So there was something a little bit suspicious that I saw before leading up to this that I was curious about.
Sauce Among Us?
So like when we were trying to figure out who's going to be interviewed here, your name came up, and it was like a pretty quick decision. But the sus thing is that Lat was like, F2P was a little apprehensive. He was he didn't want to get like tough questions. He was worried about getting grilled. something like that. And I was like, man, what does this guy got to hide? I was like, I didn't sign up to give softball questions. I didn't.
You're not gonna
I
find
didn't
the bodies in my basement. I did not kill
I
those
didn't
75 people.
No, what do you know, man? What drama do you have? What bone you got to pick? Like, what's the drama? I've been out of the loop. Like, spill it. We're on the stream. Who do you hate? You know, who hates you?
What are the drama?
Like,
you want to know the
we
drama?
lied to you.
Yeah.
We lied to you, F2P. We are gonna grill your ass, dude.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I want to know everything.
We just had to do the warm up first that you hate so much.
I was involuntarily invited to this cookout, this grill sesh, barbecue. Nah, if anything, it's the complete opposite. It's the fact that I'm so out of touch that I felt like I had nothing to like add into the conversation if it was like certain questions that I had in mind, because that was it. It was, I guess it was just a buzzword interview for me, but knowing that it was just more just relaxed, then I'd open up to it. But it's just like, if you're doing like analysis, it's like shit, man. I don't know. I've not been paying attention. I didn't study for this test.
Don't worry, bro. I didn't prepare. I think I'm the only one here who did prepare. Yeah, I'm with you, bro, all the way.
Nice, we're in solidarity.
Okay, so I had one last question. I think it's a would you rather that I think might be fun. But so I was thinking, like, if you could have, if VR was advanced to the point like it was in movies, where like you get in there and you just feel like you're in that world and everything is real and whatever, you have all the, all your senses, whatever, in that virtual reality world. And and you had all the options and the freedom to go to whatever like world or interaction or environments or whatever that the human mind could imagine. You could just explore whatever you wanted, but you could only live for another decade in that with those experiences, and then it was over and you were dead. Or would you rather VR stay where it is and you get to live out full lifespan?
But never reach that point?
Yeah, but not reach that point.
I never reached that point.
Hmm.
That is one to think about. For me personally, wait, so
do you want to travel to infinity and beyond for 10 years and no more?
Yeah.
Or
would you trade your mortal life for whatever VR experiences you could imagine?
No, it's like, okay, here's a clarifying question though. It's like, is there like anyone I could share this with? Like, is there other people there? Is it just on my own where it's like
well, it's the same sort of
stuff?
Yeah, it's the same sort of interactive. It's whatever you can imagine, your worlds, your interactions, whatever you want, whether those people are real in their own VR headsets and they're also experiencing all the stuff, or it's people you've made up. If your best friend is like some giant monstrosity or whatever. Yeah, exactly. So it's like whatever you can imagine, and you get to live that, but only for 10 years. Or would you like live out your full lifespan just as things are now?
He's trying to figure out if you're a furry or not.
I mean, look, if the possibilities are endless. No, okay, so yeah, for me, I probably would take the infinity and beyond type of answer, because here's the deal. It's like literally anything you can imagine. I mean, I feel like where VR is now, it's pretty cozy. I hope it still like really develops in hopefully enough time where I can experience it. But like I've mentioned before, like I've read a lot of comics, I've watched a lot of like shows or stuff. I'd like to say I can like pretty expansive in my creativity or imagination, and so it's just like literal endless multiverses, as opposed to just VR. Chad, multiverse was
headset
version
dies
VR.
in an hour and a half.
Yeah, no, for real. Like I literally just purchased another external battery just so I can like take it longer. But I would take the answer. I'd even like argue like even for like less years, because here's the deal. It's like I'd be able to spend every like day practically like fulfilling, because there's just a lot you could come up with, and maybe you would get bored, but then you could just, I don't know, create someone that come up with ideas for you, and then you can go about those adventures. But like, yeah, so it's just like, if it's just at that point, it's just like less VR, more just just you want to be God. I don't know, because as far as anyone is concerned, it feels like I can just create my own reality where I can just do whatever, just have as much fun as I want, and just relive all my anime, all my fantasies. Nothing sexual. No, purely.
No,
purely
platonic.
We know what you meant. We know
That's
exactly
after
what
dark.
you meant.
Off the record, cut that out.
Yeah, I thought that question was interesting. It would be a hard one to answer, I think, for a lot of people. It's like, experience whatever you want to that, you probably won't get to otherwise. But who knows where VR will go? Like you said, if it'll advance up to a point where, in our lifespans, where it's like you're in this space and it feels like you can't discern the difference between the real world, other than like, there's this 13-foot blue lizard person walking in front of you, and it's not real, but like otherwise everything feels real and all that. Like it, yeah. I mean, I think everyone. Well, I don't know. Some people are scared of when things reach that reality. It's like we'll all be so disconnected, but I feel like people are already pretty disconnected.
Disconnected.
It's just the way things are trending,
It's just a different platform.
Yeah.
But
So I heard. What is that? I heard that noise in the background. That was the alarm for interviews over. What game was that? Solid Snake, whatever. Metal Gear. I heard the alert sound. So
it's
anyway,
great to interview you, F2P.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I think this was a good interview. F2P was a perfect person to choose for like a first fun interview, because there's no way you're gonna have a conversation with Mr. Butt and it's not super.
Fuck, I was hoping you forget.
No, dude, I was waiting for you to Mr. Butt again.
I'm gonna wipe my Mr. Butt all over your face next time I find you.
You're talking to Erect over here, Mr. Butt.
Whatever, you're talking to Demon Crotch over here.
Yeah.
What's with all these like very vulgar?
You gotta watch the previous episode of this Circleback.
Erect the Demon Crotch came up in previous episode. DASHCAST.
Erected.
All right.
I didn't
Thanks
say
a lot, F2P. No, none of us are. Thanks a lot, F2P. And we'll see you out there in the game, man. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, see you around.